January 25th, 2022, Jicarón Island, Panama. A motion-triggered camera captures something that shouldn't exist. A white-faced capuchin monkey, adult male, traveling through the forest. But on his back, clinging to his fur, is a baby. Except it's not his baby. It's not even his species. Welcome to WildLeadTube, where wildlife science, verified research, and nature's strangest behaviors collide. And nothing is ever as simple as it looks. The baby is a howler monkey, 1 to 2 days old, too young to survive without its mother. And this capuchin just took it. That's not a metaphor. Let me show you exactly what scientists discovered. The male capuchin kept that baby for days, and then he wasn't alone. By September 2022, 4 other young males were doing the same thing. 5 capuchins, 11 different howler babies. Over 15 months, this behavior had never been documented. Not in capuchins, not in any wild primate species, anywhere on Earth. Dr. Zoe Goldsborough was reviewing camera trap footage from over 85 motion-triggered cameras. She's a behavioral ecologist, Max Planck Institute of Animal Behavior. She sent a screenshot to her colleagues. They were confused. Here's what makes this so unusual. Capuchins and howlers don't compete for food. They aren't predators to each other. The babies weren't eaten. They weren't harmed deliberately. And yet the kidnapping spread from 1 individual to 5, like a trend. So why would highly intelligent primates repeatedly steal babies from another species with no clear benefit? That's the question that has researchers puzzled right now. But to understand why this is happening on Jicarón Island, we need to understand exactly how intelligent capuchins are, and what makes this island different from every other place capuchins live. Let me show you how this started, and how it spread faster than anyone expected. The scientists named him Joker, facial scar, subadult male. He was the first, January 2022. Joker appeared on camera, carrying a baby howler. Days passed, same baby, still clinging to him. The researchers thought maybe the infant had been abandoned, that Joker was adopting it. But there was a problem. Animal adoption is almost always done by females who can nurse. Joker is male. He had no way to feed the infant. And crucially, the cameras picked up audio. The baby was making distress calls, the kind howler infants make when separated from their mothers. Adult howlers were calling back from the trees. This wasn't adoption. This was abduction. Jicarón Island is uninhabited by humans. Part of Coiba National Park. No roads, no electricity, rocky terrain. Scientists haul their equipment by boat when tides allow. And here's what makes this island unique. No predators, capuchins. They live without jaguars, ocelots, harpy eagles. No natural threats. Abundant food, safe environment. The capuchins on Jicarón had already developed one unusual behavior. They use stone tools, hammers, and anvils to crack open nuts, seeds, crabs, shellfish. This tool use had never been seen before in their species. That's why the cameras were there, to study tool innovation. They captured something else entirely. I've linked all sources in the description below. Joker carried that first baby for at least 9 days. Then the trail went cold. Months passed. The researchers assumed it was a one-time event. Capuchins are curious. They explore constantly. Random behaviors aren't uncommon. But 5 months later, September 2022, the cameras captured more. Not Joker this time. Other males, carrying different howler babies. The behavior had spread. Dr. Brendan Barrett, behavioral researcher at Max Planck, manually reviewed tens of thousands of images. 4 different howler infants, 4 different capuchin carriers, all young males, all doing exactly what Joker had done. The footage showed something peculiar. The capuchins weren't caring for the babies. They didn't groom them, didn't try to feed them, didn't play with them. They just carried them like accessories. The howler infants clung to the capuchins' backs or bellies while the carriers went about normal activities, using tools to crack nuts, traveling through the forest, foraging. In one instance, an adult howler approached, tried to retrieve its baby. The capuchins scared it off. Adult howlers weigh nearly 3 times what young capuchins weigh. But the howlers live in the trees. The capuchins took the babies on the ground. How they got them in the first place remains unknown. The abductions happened in the canopy, away from the cameras. Here's where this gets more interesting. Capuchins aren't just smart, they're frighteningly intelligent. In cognitive flexibility tests, capuchins outperform humans. Scientists at Georgia State University gave monkeys and humans the same problem. Learn a pattern, then get offered a shortcut. 70% of all monkeys took the shortcut the very first time. Only 1 human did. 61% of humans never used the shortcut at all. Capuchins have brains unusually large for their body size. They live 35 to 40 years in captivity, long enough for extensive learning. They have complex social hierarchies. They form alliances, remember past interactions, engage in tactical deception. Young capuchins watch adults for months before attempting complex skills. Different populations develop different traditions, including, apparently, kidnapping. The researchers identified all 5 kidnappers, Joker, and 4 others, all young males, subadults, and juveniles. That detail matters. Young male capuchins do sometimes carry infants of their own species. It's a bonding behavior. Males leave their birth group to find new groups to take over. They need allies to succeed, so they practice with babies, build relationships. But those behaviors happen within their own social group. The mothers get the babies back quickly. Everyone travels together. This was different. Different species, taken from mothers who couldn't follow, carried for days, sometimes more than a week. And here's the disturbing part. At least 4 of the 11 babies died. Some as young as 1 to 2 days old, too young to be weaned. They died from starvation. The camera footage captured something even more unsettling. Some capuchins continued carrying howler corpses, like dolls, like puppets, days after the babies had died. This behavior is known in other species. Orcas carry their dead calves. Gorillas carry their dead infants. Scientists don't fully understand why, but it's observed across intelligent species. Dr. Margaret Crowfoot, managing director at Max Planck, described reviewing the footage. Quote, "Sometimes you think you're going to be watching a horror movie. The howler population on Jicarón is endangered. Mantled howlers, subspecies, Aloata, Palliata, Coibensis, on the IUCN Red List. Mothers give birth only once every 2 years on average. Losing 11 infants in 15 months is significant population pressure." Here's what the complete timeline reveals. January 2022. Joker starts. 5 months of nothing. September 2022. Second kidnapper. Then acceleration. By March 2023, 5 different males, 11 different babies. The researchers created an interactive website documenting the spread. You can see exactly when each kidnapper appeared, which babies were taken, how long they were carried. This is the hallmark of cultural transmission. One individual innovates, others observe. Not genetics, not instinct, culture, like orcas wearing salmon hats, like chimpanzees wearing grass in their ears. Behaviors that serve no obvious purpose but spread through populations anyway. May 19, 2025. The findings were published in Current Biology. Lead author, Zoe Goldsboro. The paper's title, Rise and Spread of a Social Tradition of Interspecies Abduction. Social tradition. Those two words are crucial. This isn't random behavior. This is learned culture, transmitted between individuals, with no apparent fitness benefit. The paper documents something unprecedented. The first known case of a cultural tradition where animals repeatedly abduct and carry infants of another species for no clear reason. The full study is linked in the description. The researchers tested every hypothesis. Predation? No. The babies weren't eaten, not even after they died. Howlers and capuchins don't compete for food sources. Adoption? No. Only females adopt cross-species infants, and only when they can nurse. All 5 kidnappers were male. Aggression toward howlers? No. No signs of deliberate harm. The capuchins didn't attack the babies. They just carried them. Status signaling? No. The kidnappers didn't get special treatment. Other group members didn't react differently to them. Practice for future parenting? Possibly. But that doesn't explain why they targeted a different species, or why they kept carrying dead infants. One by one, every logical explanation failed. Here's what the evidence points to. Boredom. That sounds absurd, but consider the environment. No predators, abundant food, safety, free time. Capuchins are highly intelligent, deeply curious animals. They need stimulation. They invent constantly. Dr. Meg Crowfoot, one of the project founders. Survival appears easy on Jicarón. There are no predators and few competitors, which gives capuchins lots of time and little to do. This luxurious life set the scene for these social animals to be innovators. The same conditions that led to tool use led to kidnapping, boredom, creativity, free time, intelligence, with nothing to apply it to. Brendan Barrett put it differently. Quote, "Stealing infants might simply be interesting and stimulating. It makes me wonder what else they're doing. The trick is simple. High intelligence plus safety plus free time equals innovation. Sometimes beneficial, sometimes not. This is not a bug in capuchin cognition. This is what intelligence does when unconstrained. Here's what makes this discovery profound. Cultural traditions that harm other species aren't unique to humans. Think about that for a moment. We have countless traditions that negatively impact other animals. Factory farming, trophy hunting, habitat destruction, dressed as tradition. We justify them as culture, as heritage, as just what we do. The Jicarón capuchins developed a tradition with the same characteristics. Learned behavior, socially transmitted, no practical benefit, harmful to another species, continued despite lack of purpose. Dr. Goldsboro said this: "One of the reasons our discovery elicits such interest is because it provides a mirror into ourselves. Humans often try to compare ourselves to other animals to find similarities and differences, usually focused on positive qualities like language, tool use, empathy. However, if you think about it, humans have many seemingly arbitrary cultural traditions that harm other species. finding that this type of culture is not limited to humans, but might also occur in other intelligent animals living in the right conditions, is a fascinating implication of our findings. Right now, we're watching the birth of a harmful cultural tradition in real time through camera traps, without human influence. For the howlers, this is catastrophic. They're endangered on Jicarón, small population, slow reproduction. Losing 11 infants in just over a year puts the entire subspecies at risk. And here's the concern. Right now, only one capuchin group has adopted this behavior. But what if it spreads to other groups? What if it becomes widespread across the island? Dr. Susan Perry, UCLA evolutionary anthropologist who studies Costa Rican capuchins, has never seen this behavior in her 35-year study. It's specific to Jicarón. For now, the researchers aren't intervening, they document. They don't interfere with natural behavior. But if the kidnapping spreads or intensifies, it could become a conservation issue. The balance is delicate. Howlers already live in a predator-free environment. The capuchins just introduced a new threat, one that didn't exist before 2022. This isn't the first time scientists have documented strange fads in intelligent animals. Orcas in the Pacific Northwest briefly wore dead salmon on their heads in the 1980s, for no apparent reason. The trend lasted months, then disappeared. Chimpanzees in Zambia wear grass blades in their ears, like jewelry. Young chimps copy older ones. It serves no function. It's decoration style, a fad. But this is different. Those behaviors didn't harm other species. The howler kidnapping does, directly, lethally. All three sources are linked in the description. So what should you take from this? First, intelligence without purpose finds its own outlets. The capuchins on Jicarón have everything they need. No threats, abundant resources. And their high intelligence led them to invent behaviors with no survival value. Some beneficial, like tool use. Some harmful, like kidnapping. Intelligence innovates regardless of necessity. Second, culture isn't always adaptive. We assume cultural behaviors evolve because they provide benefits. But the howler kidnapping proves otherwise. Culture can emerge purely from curiosity, boredom, and social learning, even when it serves no purpose, even when it causes harm. Third, we are not as unique as we think. Harmful cultural traditions that target other species exist in non-human animals. We share this capacity with capuchins. The only difference is scale. Intelligence is not morality. Capability is not wisdom. The same cognitive flexibility that allows capuchins to use tools, remember complex social relationships, and outperform humans in problem-solving tests also allows them to develop traditions that serve no purpose and cause suffering. Right now, on a small island off Panama, 5 young males are demonstrating what intelligence looks like when freed from survival pressure, creativity, innovation, culture, and sometimes cruelty. The question isn't whether animals can be cruel. The question is what intelligence does when given freedom. And the answer, apparently, is whatever it finds interesting. Dr. Crowfoot said this about the ongoing research. Witnessing the spread of this behavior had a profound effect on all of us. We feel responsible to keep learning from this natural population of primates, who, to our knowledge, are the only ones on Earth practicing this strange tradition. The researchers continue monitoring. The cameras are still there, recording. If the behavior spreads, we'll see it happen in real time. If this showed you a side of animal intelligence you'd never considered, subscribe, because the next video will show you something even more unsettling. Scientists just discovered that pigs can predict their own future. And once they learned that skill, everything changed. Can animals understand time the way we do? How do you test for that? And what does it mean when they pass? Intelligence is not always kind, it's not always purposeful, but it's always watching, learning, adapting. WildLeadTube has the evidence. I'll show you where to look.